Will the porn star who can't make up her mind whether she did or did not have a sexual encounter with Trump force a mistrial? I'm Brian.
I'm Bradley.
That's today's Cosmic Reckoning. So Biden's tag team of prosecutors have to prove that Trump directed the so-called hush money payments to Michael Cohen and hid them by classifying them as legal expenses. But like any good bookkeeper, McConney played it by the books. He simply instructed an accountant to categorize the payments to Michael Cohen as legal expenses because we were paying a lawyer.
Captain Obvious.
The second most important aspect that prosecutors must prove is that Trump acted with intent to direct how those payments should be handled. Except that McConney also testified that he was unaware of the reason for the payments, and most importantly, Trump did not ask him or even speak to him about the payments.
Wow. Well, then there's... Okay, so wait, that's not Trump's defense witness, that's the prosecution's witness?
That's the prosecution's key witness to try to tie Trump to the payments, as well to try to blame Trump for the categorization, right? The false, in their argument, calling them legal expenses is allegedly, according to Bragg, that's falsification. They argue they did it for the campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Get it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Nobody else does, and maybe the jurors won't either. Thanks to Biden's hush money tabloid trial, we now know the Trump Organization uses an accounting software program from the 1990s that has a drop-down menu option for legal expenses because they were paying a lawyer.
And so, to spice things up in the ice-cold courtroom, Biden's prosecutors decided to bring on the legal burlesque. Enter Stormy Daniels, stage left.
Now, we could try to give you a stripped-down version of Stormy's testimony.
Yeah, I wonder if we should poll the audience on that.
Good one. But why not defer to CNN's legal experts who are paid to get Trump? First up, a former New York judge who worked with Judge Merchan, offering her take on Stormy's tales.
The material that came in was not relevant to this criminal case at all. And I think it shows that she was trying to get Trump. I actually thought there was a motive there. She said she hates him. She said she'd like to see him in prison. I think she was purposely throwing out this stuff to make sure the jurors were prejudiced, particularly the women jurors, but probably half of the men too, were really put off.
And if you weren't convinced that Stormy Daniels would do anything to see Trump locked up, including lie in a court of law, here's CNN's former federal prosecutor, Mr. Honig.
The cross-exam, boy, her responses were disastrous. I mean, do you hate Donald Trump? Yes, of course she does. That's a big deal. When the witness hates the person whose liberty is at stake, that's a big damn deal. And she's putting out tweets, fantasizing about him being in jail. That really undermines the credibility. The fact that she owes him $500,000, she, by order of a court, owes Donald Trump $500,000 and said, I will never pay him. I will defy a court order. The defense is going to say she's willing to defy a court order. Why? She's not willing to respect an order of a judge. Why is she going to respect this oath she took?
Stormy Daniels may have single-handedly blown up the trial with her salacious X-rated story time with a porn star testimony. By defaming Trump's character and making him out to be a perverted creep, she opened the door to what lawyers call reversible errors. That is any error that is sufficient to warrant reversal of judgment on appeal. Even the Democrat Biden donor judge Merchan admitted there were several things that would have been better left unsaid. So why would Democrat Judge Merchan backtrack after Stormy's steamy prejudicial monologue? Because this trial was never about justice. This tabloid show trial is about publicly humiliating a candidate for president to change the outcome of an election.
Yeah, and that's true because we know that actually several commentators have already said that they don't care about the appeal. because the appeal would clearly be after the election.
And if all of that legal burlesque wasn't enough to convince you that this is a brazen political prosecution crafted for the voters and not for the jury in the courtroom, consider this. Judge Merchan will not allow the former commissioner of the Federal Elections Commissions to testify because he will tell the jury there's no crime.
Yeah, and now he hasn't testified yet because he is a witness for the defense. But they've had pre-trial hearings basically on who you're going to bring in and what are they going to talk about. The same thing they had with Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels was not supposed to go there. She was only supposed to talk about the payment. But she went there and the judge allowed it. But now for the FEC commissioner, we'll have to wait and see. But what Judge Merchan, and I should read the quote here, he has said that the FEC commissioner can only, quote, testify generally on the general background as to what the Federal Campaign Commission is, background as to who makes up the FEC, what the FEC's function is, what laws, if any, the FEC is responsible for enforcing, and general definitions and terms that would directly relate to this case, such as, for example, explaining a campaign contribution. But he is not allowed to give his opinion about Trump's situation, whether it qualifies as a campaign expense or not.
Right.
That's his job.
It's ridiculous because that's the crux of the whole case. They're arguing Trump is trying to protect his campaign and therefore hid the payments, but the judge will not allow the expert on campaign finances and campaign donations or whatever the payment might be. He won't allow him to testify because he'll blow up the entire case.
Think about this. If you were in a court case and someone wrongfully died, you believe it was a homicide, so you bring your key witness in, the coroner. And the coroner, he's a guy who's the expert, clearly, in someone's death and what happened. And the judge says, well, you can describe your job as a coroner.
Yeah.
And
here's
what's
what a day looks like
expectations-
in the day of a coroner.
A day in the dead.
A day, working with dead bodies. But
you can't explain how that dead body got dead.
So a quick update. We're recording this right after Stormy Daniels finished in cross-examination, and they're done with her. She's left the stand. So we don't have a lot of details as far as what she said, except for one of the things that she admitted is that she has no knowledge that Donald Trump was involved with the payment or even knew anything about the payment. So again, a key witness for Biden's tag team prosecutors has actually exonerated Donald Trump.
Wow. And so all we're left with is the tabloid show trial of Donald J. Trump, meant to interfere with the election for president of 2024.
Right. So even at this point, we got to admit, Democrats may not have put Trump in jail, but they have successfully locked him up in a New York courtroom, stripped him of his First Amendment rights, and kept him from fully campaigning for president. It's enough to make Venezuela's dictator, Nicolas Maduro, blush.
You serious?
Wouldn't want to see him on a pole.
Me either. Well, that's your tabloid show trial update for today. I'm Brian.
I'm Bradley.
And that's today's Cosmic Reckoning. Remember, think right to live free.